Every day is very special when you stop to think about it. And that's the whole secret, to think about things. Yes, think. Lovely thoughts, happy thoughts, special thoughts. That will make you a very special person. Thoughts like, well, when we meet someone new, we say, how do you do? We say, how do you do? And smile. We shake their hand and say their name, and we're friends in a little while. When someone does something nice, will you take my advice and say thanks very much? And then, to prove you're happy, let them know, say thank you once again. And don't forget, excuse me please, when you bump into someone or you knock something down. And also good morning or good evening to the friends and the neighbors that you meet in town. When you've finished a meal and you really feel you have other things to do, just ask, may I please be excused, and they'll say yes to you. And don't forget, excuse me please, when you bump into someone or you knock something down. And also good morning or good evening to the friends and the neighbors that you meet in town. When you've finished a meal and you really feel you have other things to do, just ask, may I please be excused? And they'll say yes to you.
I counted 5 things to think about in that song. Can you think what they were? Now I'm going to tell you a story. One day, a milkmaid carrying a pail of milk on top of her head was on her way to market. As she walked, she thought,
I'll sell this milk for a lot of money, and with this money I'll buy a hen. The hen will lay eggs, and I'll sell the eggs, and I'll have more money, and then I'll buy a new gown and a pretty jeweled crown and dancing shoes of red. And the prince will come over to ask me to dance. I'll pretend not to see him, and I'll turn my head. As she spoke, she turned her head, and down came the pail of milk, spilling all over the ground. Oh, her daydreams vanished, and all she had was the empty pail and the promise of a scolding when she returned home. So, if you spend money before it's earned, you learn the lesson that the milkmaid learned. Don't say you've got the bowl until you've made the catch, or you'll be counting your chickens before they hatch. And now, let's think for a moment about what happened to a very honest lumberjack. One day, a lumberjack was busily chopping down a tree when his axe flew out of his hand and fell into the water. This made him very unhappy, for it was the only axe he owned, and he needed it for his work. Suddenly, and without a word of warning, the beautiful goddess of the river rose from the water holding a large silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. "No," said the honest lumberjack. So the goddess disappeared into the water and returned with a golden axe. "Is this yours?" she asked. "No," said the honest lumberjack. And once again she disappeared into the water and came back holding his own wooden axe. "Is this yours?" she asked. "Oh, yes," cried the honest lumberjack. "Thank you." But when he reached out for it, the river goddess turned it into gold, because he was an honest man and didn't try to take what wasn't his. The golden axe was his reward. He learned to always tell the truth, and you will agree, honesty is the best policy. You know, animals are our very good friends.
They're pretty helpless, and they need us to think about them.
When your little dog gets hungry, he can't go to a restaurant. He can't do the shopping, and he can't use the stove, and he can't cook himself a luscious bone. No, a little dog can't get his food alone. When your little cat gets sick, she can't go to the hospital. She can't take an aspirin, and she can't say what's wrong, and she can't call the doctor on the phone. No, a little cat can't do these things alone. It's up to you to take care of your pets. No one forgets to take care of their pets, and if you make it a habit to do, they'll always be grateful and faithful to you. When your fish needs clean water, he can't jump in the river. He can't turn on the faucet. He can't knock on his fishbowl. He can't do this even if he's shown. No, a little fish can't do these things. A little cat can't do these things. A little dog can't do these things alone.
Did you ever hear how a little friend of mine named Johnny missed out on something extra special? Well, he did, because when his mother called him, he made believe he didn't hear her, because he thought that what he was doing was more important than what his mother wanted. So she tried to call him again, even louder this time, but he just ignored her. About 15 minutes later, when he decided he was ready to answer, he went into the kitchen just in time to see his mother putting the last bit of his favorite dessert in her mouth. He said, "Mom, can I have some?" And she said, "You could have had all of it if you had just come when I called. But when you didn't answer, I thought you weren't around, so I ate it all up myself." Well, that was too bad for Johnny, but it doesn't have to happen to you. Not if you remember.
When your mother calls, be sure to answer. Maybe she has something you would like to do. You should always heed her, for when you need her, she is sure to answer you.
Now here's something to think about. Something very important about your health.
Your mouth is a house where your teeth all live, and they deserve the very best care that you can give. 'Cause if you don't, there isn't any doubt it won't be fun when one by one your teeth will all move out. So brush your teeth, please do it. Brush them night and day. The very best care will keep them there, and they'll never, never move away. They'll never, never move away. They'll be healthy and happy to stay.
You know, your daddy works hard all week long. Wouldn't it be nice if on his day off you would?
Let your daddy sleep on Sunday morning. He's been working hard the whole week through. When he gets his rest, he'll be feeling best, and he will gladly play with you.
Here's a little story about a very greedy dog. Think about this story very carefully. Do you know any children who are like the dog in this story? One day, a little white dog had just been given his dinner. A great, big, delicious, juicy bone. He was so happy and so hungry that he quickly took his bone to the lake and started to eat it. Just then, he looked down into the water and saw the reflection of himself eating his dinner. But he thought it was another dog with another bone, a great big bone. And he shouted, "If you don't give me my bone, I'll jump right down and get it myself." Of course, the image in the lake didn't move, so the greedy dog jumped in with a splash, lost his bone, and almost drowned. He was wet and hungry, but he learned his lesson.
Are you a greedy girl or a boy? Would you take away the other fellow's toy? Just be happy with what you've got, and you'll discover that you've got a lot.
Did you ever think about how important it is to
be neat from your head to your feet, from your toe to your hair, so you can go anywhere. Be neat, no matter how you're dressed. Do you always look your best?
And here's a funny thought.
When you've had a bath, be sure to scrub a dove. A ring belongs around your finger, not around the tub.
Do you have a bathroom problem in your house? It's a very busy place, isn't it? Where everyone in the family has to
brush their teeth, wash their hands, take a bath and comb their hair, shave or take a shower, so the family must share. Don't stay in too long, or everyone will shout. When someone is waiting, finish quickly and come out.
One day, a giraffe in a make-believe zoo was thinking unhappily to himself, "It isn't fair that all the other animals in the world can talk, and we poor giraffes can't even make a sound. Just think, a lion can roar, a tiger can growl, even a teeny mouse can squeak. But look at me. I'm the tallest animal in the whole zoo, and I can't even say boo." But why can't I? Because nobody's ever heard a giraffe talk before. I wonder if I could. Maybe if I tried to talk, instead of believing what people say about me, I could talk. So he got up on his feet and took a deep breath, opened his mouth, but nothing came out. So he tried again, and again, and again, day after day, week after week, until he spoke. It wasn't a growl. It wasn't a roar. It wasn't even a squeak. It was more like a tinkle. But that didn't matter. The important thing was that the giraffe did make a sound, and the sound got better every day. And now, if you visit him at the make-believe zoo, he'll tell you confidentially that it happened because...
If you want to do a thing real badly, you can learn to talk or dance or sing. If you try your best and if you practice, you can do most anything.
Now here's an extra special thought I have, just for you.
May kindness and consideration always be with you. Show kindness and consideration in everything you do. Just like the golden rule, you will find it's true. Be considerate of others, and they'll be kind to you. Through kindness and consideration, life will be such fun. For kindness and consideration's good for everyone. Just like the golden rule, you will find it's true. Be considerate of others, and they'll be kind to you. With kindness and consideration, there will be no greed. For kindness and consideration, something we all need. Just like the golden rule, you will find it's true. Be considerate of others, and they'll be kind to you.
Here's a very happy song I know you'll enjoy singing. You'll also enjoy listening to the words and thinking about what they say.
When no one has to tell you what to do and what to say, you just do it and you do it right and do it right away. That's a good habit, a very good habit, so get into that habit day and night. 'Cause if you're gonna do things right. When playing with your toys, you hear your mother say, lunch is almost ready, so you put your toys away. When getting dressed for bed, why everybody knows, before you go to sleep you have to put away your clothes. That's a good habit, a very good habit, so get into that habit day and night. 'Cause if you're gonna do things right. We always brush our teeth, we do it morn and night. It makes our mouth taste fresh and clean and keeps our teeth so white. Before it's time to eat, nobody has to scold. You simply wash your face and hands and don't wait to be told. When no one has to tell you what to do and what to say, you just do it and you do it right and do it right away. That's a good habit, a very good habit, so get into that habit day and night. 'Cause if you're gonna do things right. When we go to sleep on time, I have often heard it said, next morning you're not sleepy, so you jump right out of bed. And when you have a date, your friends won't have to wait. When you must go, you go on time and never will be late. That's a good habit, a very good habit, so get into that habit day and night. 'Cause if you're gonna do things right. Save your money too, that's something you should know, because from little pennies many dollar bills will grow. When your family starts to eat and you want to join them too, use your fork and spoon and napkin and do everything they do. When no one has to tell you what to do and what to say, you just do it and you do it right and do it right away. That's a good habit, a very good habit, so get into that habit day and night. 'Cause if you're gonna do things right.
How many good things to think about did you count in that song? I counted 8. Did you? What do you think about people who play tricks on others? Well, here's a story about what one donkey thought about a trick played on him, a trick which he deserved. One day, a poor man took his donkey to the seashore, bought some salt, loaded the heavy salt bags on the donkey's back, and headed for home. On the way, the donkey slipped and accidentally fell in the water. The water melted the salt, and this made the poor man very sad. But the donkey was happy, for he didn't have to carry the heavy salt sacks any longer. The next day, the man returned for more salt, loaded the even heavier bags on the donkey's back, and walked toward home. Again the donkey fell into the water, but this time it was no accident. He purposely did it so that the water would melt the salt and free him of his very heavy load. The poor man, who had lost much money because of this donkey, thought of a way to cure him of his tricks. On the next trip, he loaded the donkey with sponges. Now, sponges are very light, but the selfish animal wanted to make his burden still lighter. So he fell into the water as he had done before. No sooner did this happen when the sponges soaked up so much water that the donkey's load was doubled, and he could hardly walk home from the weight of it. He had really made a donkey of himself that time. So, if you play a trick just once too often, you'll be doing something that you should not do. You will make your friends feel oh so angry. They will play a trick on you. Did you ever stop to think that your house is a wonderful place for you to live with your family? And if your manners at home are good, you will all live so happily. And do you ever think about your parents?
Your mother and father are people too, and just like you, they like to know if they want to rest or even go out, that you'll have the manners to let them go.
And how about your brothers and sisters?
Your brothers and sisters are extra special friends of yours, and you should always treat them in an extra special way. Would you please respect their properties? Then they'll be glad to share their toys each time you want to play.
Did you ever stop to think that little mice have no safe place to live? Wherever they are, there's sure to be a big cat always after them, trying to frighten them away. Well, some mice got very tired of worrying about the cat, and they called a meeting to decide once and for all what was to be done about the situation. Everyone had an idea, which was usually pretty bad, until one little mouse got up and spoke. "I propose that a bell be hung around the cat's neck. Then whenever he comes near us, we'll hear the bell and be able to escape." Well, everyone thought that was a wonderful idea, and they all cheered the little mouse and his excellent plan. When the cheers quieted down, the wise old grandfather mouse spoke. "I think it's a very good idea, but I'm wondering just who will be willing to do the job." Then he looked at the tiny mouse who had made the suggestion, and he asked, "Would you tie the bell around the cat's neck?" "I?" asked the frightened mouse. "I couldn't. She would catch me, she would hurt me, and, oh dear, I really couldn't." "Well," said the wise old mouse, "if you won't do it, nobody else will, and for the very same reason. So from now on, let's have only those ideas which we ourselves are able to do. Remember, my little friend."
If someone needs your help, I have often heard, deeds and actions speak louder than words.
Do you think it's fun to have dinner with the whole family? Maybe this thought will help make it fun.
To make each meal as happy as a party, learn to use your knife and spoon, and do things right with every bite, each morning, night, and noon.
I have a little friend, Richard, and he was very excited about going on a hike last Saturday with his friends. All he had to do to get ready for the hike was to fix his knapsack. Well, last Monday he said, "I can do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I've got plenty of time." On Tuesday he said, "I can fix it Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. There's plenty of time." When Wednesday came around, he said, "Oh, I'll do it Thursday or Friday. I've got plenty of time." On Thursday, he planned to fix it on Friday. And when Friday came and went, he figured he'd get up early Saturday morning before the hike and fix his knapsack then. Well, Saturday, he was so tired that he overslept, couldn't fix his knapsack, and didn't go on the hike. So if you've got something to do, whether it's homework, something for your mother, or just anything, remember,
if you've got something that must be done, hurry up and do it so there's time for fun. Don't do it later, do it right away. Don't say you'll do tomorrow what you should do today.
Do you know,
when someone is older and wiser than you, there's one thing to do when spoken to. Listen and you're sure to learn something new. Listening shows very good manners.
did you ever hear the story of the mouse and the crow? Well, it goes something like this. One day, a mean old crow stole a piece of cheese from a hungry little mouse. When the mouse got home to have his dinner, he looked everywhere, but the cheese was gone. "I'll bet that old crow stole my cheese," said the little mouse. Just then, he looked up at the old tree where the crow had her nest, and sure enough, he saw the bird with a piece of cheese tightly in her beak. "How will I ever get it back? I can't fly, and I'm much too little to climb all the way to the top of the tree. What shall I do?" Well, he thought and thought, and in a little while he got a wonderful idea. "I'll have the cheese for dinner yet." He walked over to the tree and spoke to the crow in the politest way he knew how. "Good evening, Miss Crow. How beautiful you look. Your wings are so glossy, and your claws look as strong as steel. I've never heard you sing, but I'm sure you must have the most wonderful voice of any other bird in the forest." Well, the crow was so pleased by all this flattery that she actually believed every word. She thought she was beautiful when she was really very ugly. She thought the mouse liked her, and he was really very angry at her for taking his cheese. And when he said she must have a beautiful voice, she believed that too, even though everyone knows that a crow has a terrible voice. She decided to sing a song, and as she opened her mouth to do so, out dropped the piece of cheese, right into the waiting hands of the little mouse. The mouse earned his dinner all right, and the crow learned her lesson. And the lesson was this: "When you do something well, be proud as you can be, but never pay attention to flattery." Do you have friends? Are they fun to play with? Well, here's a way that you can have lots of fun together. When your little friends come visiting you, you are the hostess or the host. If you make them feel at home in your home, they'll enjoy themselves the most. Just let them do the things they like to do and share your toys with them. They'll have such fun, they'll tell everyone. They can't wait to come back again. Do you ever play at your friend's home? When you go visiting your friends, do the same to them. And if you do, why, very soon they'll ask you back again. And now for the story of the tortoise and the hare. A hare was always poking fun at a little tortoise, always telling her how slowly she walked. The tortoise tried not to be annoyed when the hare picked on her, but she couldn't help it. She just couldn't take any more, and so one day she challenged the hare to a race to see which one of them was really the fastest. "Ha, ha, ho, ho," laughed the hare, until his sides ached. "That's a very good joke. I can run circles around you, and you know it." "Why, I don't know anything of the kind," said the tortoise. "We'll soon see which of us is the fastest." So the animals set the course, and a dog was chosen as the judge. When he barked, "Ruff!" the race began. Before you could say scat, the hare shot by and was out of sight in an instant. The tortoise plodded along, as slowly as ever, moving about an inch at a time. After a while, the hare was having a wonderful time, stopped to look for the tortoise. "He's nowhere in sight. He must be miles back. Oh, I think I'll take a little nap here in the grass, and when it cools off a bit, I'll finish the race." So he lay down and fell fast asleep. And as he slept, the tortoise crept slowly along. After a while, he passed the sleeping hare, and as he did so, he did it so quietly that the hare didn't wake up. Just as the tortoise crossed the winning line, the hare awoke with a start. But no matter how fast he ran, he could never win the race now. And do you know what that proves? If you don't succeed when you're first starting, don't be impatient and wear a sad face. Remember the story of the hare and the tortoise, when slow but steady won the race. And now it's time for me to say goodbye.
We've thought about so many wonderful things together, haven't we? But of all the thoughts, the one I'd like to leave you with now is my favorite. And this is it. Remember? When no one has to tell you what to do and what to say, you just do it and you do it right and do it right away. That's a good habit, a very good habit. So get into that habit day and night. 'Cause if you're gonna do things right.